The Diplomat, a movie about tragedy that still happens to this day. Hello there, namaste. So The Diplomat is a tough film. You watch it because you know it has a happy ending. You know how it ends, but a woman who is in Pakistan runs to the Indian embassy to ask for asylum. She wants to go back to her home. Turns out that she's been battered, beaten, abused, tricked into marrying a man who is, it's, the whole thing is just tragic, and things like that happen. Women do get swayed into those things, and this film does point out the fact that men do get swayed into these things if money's involved. That's how she manipulated her simple thinking husband, but I don't care about that. He got what he deserved. Not really, but she goes for asylum, and it's tragic because she wanted money for her child. She was wanting to get help for her child. And this guy who was so sweet and kind and everything basically got her to follow him to Pakistan, where he basically threw her in the back of a truck and kidnapped her. So she's wanting to go back home. She's wanting to escape this life of slavery, basically. This man has several kids, has several wives because, well, he can just take them, and you get a weird, uncomfortable feeling. It's like, no wonder women wear burqas there, because if that's how they're constantly stared at. Because she's walking around with her skin showing and her face, and every guy was just doing nothing but staring at her like she was a piece of meat. Like just something that's cooking on the stove. Like, that bacon sizzling nice, that kind of thing. It's just, there was like no humanity behind the looks, and I'm like, gosh, if that's what someone's surrounded by, no wonder they would want to hide and cover themselves, because I wouldn't want to be looked at like that. I don't think anyone would. That's just disgusting. Well, I'm sure some guys would, let's be honest, that there are always some weirds. But yeah, I mean, it was just creepy, and I love that dynamic because you start seeing that side of it. One thing I don't like is how she wasn't honest to begin with. I don't know why, when you are told to be honest to the people that are supposed to be saving you, you don't say nothing. Why do you not say nothing? That's the thing I find so interesting in every single film. When it's based off a true story, or even when it's not, they don't say the truth. They'll just say a bit of it, and it's like, you wouldn't have believed me if I told you the truth. It's like, well, how can he believe you now? If you're going to tell him the truth now, he's not going to believe you because he gave you the opportunity beforehand. But yeah, good things end because it looks like a war would have broken out over it, because the terror group, because that's basically what it is wanting his wife back. The government, of course, is on the side of the terror group, and the embassy is just trying to get her out, even having to bring her to court where she's terrified of the man. And it's like, how can you not look at this and be like, yeah, she's absolutely traumatized. I mean, they were basically kids with guns. They had no real maturity. They weren't getting their way. So what they do, they get all their kids from the playground and start, harassing the one person that's bothering them. I want my toy back. I want my toy back. It's just, when you start looking at these extremist groups, or even governments, I'll have you, and just imagine it, every single nation or every single extremist group on a playground, as if there were a personality on a playground. It starts to make more sense of the world that we've never grown up, especially when it comes to group mentality. We never grow up. And this really does nail it down, because every single scene I'm just like, how immature are you? How immature are you? How immature are you? But the entire time I'm just like, there's no definition, there's no explanation as to how they can think this way. Sure, there are some people that get their jollies off on beating someone. It's disgusting, it's heinous, it doesn't belong anywhere in society. But there are people like that. Then find someone who likes that, who enjoys receiving it. There are people who enjoy being treated that way in a relationship. It's find the counterpart. Don't just force any random person into a situation. It's just disgusting. If they're not in, they shouldn't be in. But I enjoyed it because every single situation, you feel like things are going good, and then tension rises. And then it settles down, and then tension rises once again. And then it settles down, and then tension rises. It's very well paced because you just get a good roller coaster effect throughout the whole thing. And one of the most powerful and impactful scenes in this film has to be in the cinematography when they zoom in close on the girl's eye when she's first basically locked up and she's crying for help. You know what's happening in that scene. And they just go zoom in on her eye. And it was just so impactful because your mind knows what's going on. And it's just, her eyes are like dead inside until a tear starts dropping down her eye. And it's just that scene alone was amazingly powerful. You don't need to show everything that's going on. We just needed to see her eyes to know what exactly was happening. That was amazingly well done right there. I gotta say, great movie, well acted. I enjoyed the Diplomat. Even JP, when he had his line where the lady's like, "Oh, are you being sincere with me? Are you earnest?" He's like, "I'm a diplomat by profession. I'm a professional diplomat." It's just like immediately I'm like, yes, he's a true diplomat. He keeps everything closed off. He can't be completely forward because who likes politicians? Who likes that kind of thing? But it's like, yeah, I like him. At least he knows who he is. And I will say, his son is mentally ill. His son is mentally deficient. He put his finger in a pencil sharpener and then he drank gasoline, petrol. It's just yeah, that he has a kid that's a little mentally deficient. But I like how he had a history as well, where he was working at an embassy in Afghanistan when it was exploded in 2008, when it was attacked. And he's just like, it was amazing because you see this and it's just like, oh my gosh. What was the explosive in the girl's doll? What was it at the car? Was it, but the fact that they had the arm laying there and he's like, he needed to move it. It just reminded me of like Patriot Day, where different because the body wasn't being trampled, but the guard was watching over the body of the child that died during the Boston bombing. And he was there for like 7 hours just watching over the body of a child. And a real officer had to do that. And it's just, you show respect because you're protecting the corpses. But they can't be moved because the investigation is ongoing. And it reminded me of that scene. I'm like, dang, this is powerful. And he's telling her the story because he's like, you need to go to court and you need to stand up to him, or else you will always live this day over. You will always have the regret of not moving the arm to a safe place and no longer being trampled. That kind is just so well done. I absolutely enjoy this film. It's really worth the watch. Even though it's dark, it shows like there is faith in some aspects of humanity. Not all, some. Some. Yeah, I highly recommend this film. I even love like the very end where they have the real lady, since it's based off of the true story, where they have her at the very end, the real lady doing her interview when she was saved. Her child there. It just, everything at the very end, I'm like, okay, this is nice. This is nice. Because sometimes when it says based on a true story, I know the Coen brothers, they always put like based on true events. It's all fiction. Everything's fiction. They just put that at the beginning of their films to go like, I don't know why. It just adds some tension, I guess. But yeah, I really like this film. I like how it shines a light on atrocities that are still going on, because this is what, one life saved out of the hundreds of millions of women that are probably in a bad situation. And it gets worse. Men, women, children, everyone can fall victim to this kind of thing. It takes a vulnerable state, and you've got to close yourself off and be able to think logically about a situation. Because if you actually think about it, the poor thing, she just wanted to save her daughter, that she fell for this person. If she would have actually thought for a second, she would have been like, yeah, I'm wasting my time here. I shouldn't bother. Great film. Definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth a rewatch, I believe. Thank y'all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles.
You guys got a video? It's so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, like that.